Hi everyone, I'm Tom Wilson. Welcome back to the Northern Gamblers podcast. It's St Leger Festival week. So for the week, we'll be getting stuck into the Doncaster card on Thursday, Friday and Saturday. James Dunkley is back on the podcast as usual. Hello, James.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, very good. And we're very happy to have Mike Spence back on following his debut for the Guineas preview podcast. So only the classics, Mike. So welcome back.
Thanks. Good to be back.
So how's your season been overall, Mike? Particularly with some of the horses in your ownership. Of course, you had a positive win in the Solario a few weeks ago. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, no, it's been good. Started well, had a bit of a lull, and then the 2-year-olds have come good for us. We've only got 4 2-year-olds this year. Amazingly, 2 have won Group 3s, and the others finished second, and first. 2 won, and then got a horse called Established, who's probably more of a 3-year-old, but he ran well at Ascot on Friday actually. So going okay. The 2-year-olds are the shining light for us at the moment this year.
So is positive? Is the goal the Guineas? Would that be the?
I think he's a Guineas horse. Yeah, I'll be surprised if he's not in the Guineas. I mean, touch wood, everything goes to plan. He's definitely going to be a better 3-year-old. So I hope he'll probably have one more run this year. Just working out where we're going to go, and then he should make a nicer 3-year-old. I was actually very impressed with him at Sandown. I mean, he won a short head, but it didn't tell the whole story because. I mean, 2 out, it looked like we were going to beat Kamiko about 12 lengths the way we went past him. And I think we just hit the front too early. And Kamiko then had something to run at. But no, he's getting there. He's a very raw horse. And he will be a better horse in time. He'll definitely be a better horse with the lead for longer into the race.
Mm-hmm. Good. So what's his story then? So he's by Dutch Art, isn't he? Where did you get him from? Was it one of the sales a year or so ago?
Yeah, he was booked too. He's actually from the family of Zonderland, who Clive Cox had already trained. Trains that whole family, actually. Hadn't trained the mare of this, but it came highly recommended by Shebley Park. And so we followed him through and we got him. He had a slight issue with a knee, which put a lot of people off, which probably explains the cheap-looking price tag. But he is a stunning horse. Had it not been for that, I don't think we've probably been able to afford him, given what he would have made. So it was blessing in disguise for us.
Yeah, very good. Well, best of luck. Hopefully the upward curve continues and more successes later this year and next season as well.
Fingers crossed.
So we'll get stuck into Donny. We'll start on Thursday with the 2:10. So it's a 6 furlong Fillies Nursery Handicap Class 2 race. James, I'll go to you first, but this is not your bag at all, is it? 2-year-old nurseries. But have you got anything in this?
No, you're wasting your time with me here, Tom. It's not really my bag, a nursery race, so I'll pass it straight back to you.
Mike, anything for you in this one?
Yeah, I think it's good. For the races left this week, I think it's one of the more interesting races. Actually, I'm not sure too many of these are improving that much anymore, which is slightly disappointing. I think there are 2 to be. Well, I'll talk about 3. Graceful Magic probably should have won last time at Goodwood, but I did think that was a bad race. And to be fair, when she won at Newmarket, I wasn't sure that was the best of races either. But I'm pretty sure she's the favourite as we're speaking. Yeah, she's being a nicely backed favourite, which is nice to see when you don't want to be on her. I like 2 here. I like Stylistique quite a lot. She's obviously the class horse in the race. She's miles better than these. She's got some very good form. I know that she was very well fancied before her first run. And she actually ran very well. That was behind Boomer, and obviously that form's tied in well with her recent Group 3 win, where Stylistique was also 4th in it. But I like the way on her last 2 starts, she's basically travelled like the best horse, hit the front, and just not really seen out the trip too well for me. I think going back to 6.5 on a flat track, lots of pace on here. She's drawn in the middle. I think she ticks a lot of boxes for me. I think she'll go very well. I would definitely have had her favourite. So it's nice to see her not favourite. And one other who I think I think will run very well is the Amy Murphy horse called Neroda, I think is how you pronounce it, who's won 2 weak enough races, but she has won them very well. And I would be surprised if she didn't have quite a lot more to offer. She's very well bred. And I think, yeah, I'm surprised she was so big as well. But your Stylistique would probably be my number 1.
Yeah, I'm with you on Stylistique. That was also my selection in the race. Some of the others are more exposed. She's only had 3 runs. Last time out at Goodwood, you mentioned it, but just over a length behind Dark Lady, who has since come out and won at Salisbury and is now rated 104, I think. I've also got a big Roger Varian angle for the Ledger Festival. I follow him every year. Since 2015, he's running at a 29% strike rate plus 57 points. So he clearly gets his horses ready for it. He's also running at 22% strike rate in the last week, above his yearly average of 18%. So the string looks in good form. So with the trainer angle there, and as you say, probably the strongest form in the class of the race, yeah, I will definitely row in on Stylistique as well. Good.
Easy.
Yeah, easy came until 2:15 tomorrow. 2:40 on Thursday, 1 mile 6 Park Hill Stakes Group 2. The market is headed by a short price favourite in Embihar. James, this is a bit more your bag. Anything here?
I don't know about that. Do you know what? Boring as it may seem, I actually find it pretty hard to see past Embihar here. The main reason being is she absolutely destroyed, in my opinion, what is probably a better 3-year-old than Dame Malliot in Manuela de Vega last time, and she was giving Manuela de Vega a stone that day. And she just looks to have come on leaps and bounds this season. Obviously, we know the Gosden with fillies angle is always a strong one, and the weight it's not really putting me off enough. I think that the Dame Malliot run in France last time, where she beat Love So Deep Ahead, I don't think that's the strongest form, to be honest. Nothing like Embihar has done. So, as boring as it may sound, I quite like the favourite.
Yeah, thanks for the 6-5 favourite. I'm going to oppose you. I'm actually going to go with Dame Malliot. I think with the weight for age, it's £10. On my figures, that puts Dame Malliot within £1 for me of Embihar. And with the potential for improvement, I think she also goes up in trip for the first time, doesn't she? To 1 mile 6.
Yeah, it's 1 mile 6.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the first time at the trip, actually. Let me have a look.
It will be. And it should by Champs-Elysees. So
yeah, by Champs-Elysees as well. That was the angle, yeah. So going up in trip to 1 mile 6 should suit. £1 difference on my ratings with the weight for age. So with the potential improvement there, I would run with Dame Malliot. I was a bit concerned on a class angle of the class of Champs-Elysees and the damn stars in your eyes. But I'll take the second favourite here. Throw over to Mike.
Yeah, what do you mean by the weight for age? I know she's giving weight for age, but unless the weight for age scale's wrong, then it's essentially irrelevant.
She's getting
she's getting £10.
She's getting £10. She's getting £10 from Embihar, isn't she?
Yeah, but unless the weight for age, unless the weight for age scale would be wrong, then it's essentially irrelevant because of where they are at their stages in their career. So it's just a bit
true. I always just like it. I always just like late season 3-year-olds getting weight for age from 4-year-olds.
I am firmly in the Embihar camp here. She ran very well. Obviously, won very well when she won at Goodwood. She carried £1 less than King's Advice, who ran on the same card over the same course and distance. He's obviously an exceptionally good horse, and she gave him a 5-length beating on the figures through the raw times alone, and that doesn't even take into account the fact she won on the bridle. For me, I think she's a proper Group 1 filly. I think she could have won the Irish Ledger on Sunday if she was running in it. I'm pretty surprised she's odds against, to be honest. I'd struggle to make a case for Delphina, who's probably only that price because Aidan O'Brien trains her. And Dame Malia, she's a danger for sure. But she's more of a 108, 107 filly on what she's done for me. It's hard for anybody to can't see Love So Deep being rated much higher than that. She won a week listed race before. I think there's about £10 between them at least, and for me here. The ground looked perfect today, and she's thriving, Emberhart. She should be unbeaten, really. If they hadn't gone too soon at York, I think she would be. So I'm very, very keen on Emberhart.
Okay, good. So 2 votes for Emberhart, so the favourite, and 1 from me opposing with Dame Malia. We've not been very original there. We've all stayed at the front of the market.
Well, to be fair, they are clear. So it probably is between them two. And me and Mike are more shrewd than you, and we've picked the winner. So that's fine.
Let's see the benefit of waiting for it on those 3-year-olds when it comes to 240 tomorrow. 3:15 at a 6 furlong 2-year-old stakes race. Quite an open market at the moment. Harper Crates, or I don't know if that's how you say it.
Harpocrates.
Or something.
Harpocrates.
Harper Crates. That's the northern way of saying it. I've had a mare in the last 10 minutes. Heads the market. I'll go to Mike first. Mike, are you sticking with a favourite here, or are you going else?
I didn't really have an opinion on betting wise here. I thought, if anything, Harpocrates and Las Vegas were probably a bit overpriced. I think their form is just considerably better than anything else in the race here, and I was a bit surprised that they only take up such a small share of the market. I don't really think I'll get tempted into betting either of them, especially Las Vegas with the layoff. But I wasn't very keen on the form of the Gimcrack. Apart from the winner, the time was pretty average, and I think the rest of these in here, they just have so much to find. I mean, Harpocrates and Las Vegas have to run so far below their recent runs for anything else to get involved, or anything else has to improve so much to get involved, that I just struggle to. I struggle to see anything else getting involved if those two are able to run to their form. I think Harpocrates is a big price, really, at taking up less than 20% of the market. Second in a Group 3 last time. His form on fast ground's good. I think if he can repeat that run in the, because I think he takes all the beating. But then again, it's a 21 runner conditions race that probably doesn't appeal too much to me either. So I'd probably give it a miss, but I think he's a big price.
James, I think you're very keen on one here, aren't you? This is your main bet of tomorrow.
Yeah, well, Mike's hit the nail on the head there. Las Vegas. I'm actually not worried about the layoff. I think the layoff has been the plan. Obviously, he ran third. He ran third in the Windsor Castle, which was, I watched it back the other day, and he was out the back the whole way and came through late. So, and he was staying on, and he's been staying on in all his races. So, firstly, I think the step up to 6 will suit. His win, it is a hay, isn't it? Yeah, came on good to firm. The ground's good to firm, so I'm not worried about that. I think the reason they haven't ran him is because in the sort of stipulations for the race, if you pick up a listed win or a group win, you pick up a penalty. Now, this race, the winner gets £147,000. So obviously, it's worth winning. He's running off 8 stone 6, whereas Harpocrates. Harpocrates is running off 9 stone 2. So he's getting was that £10 he's getting. He's actually rated high. He's rated 99 for the Windsor Castle run. So I think they purposely haven't run him because he probably would have had to run in a sort of listed group race with his rating. So I think they've purposely kept him for this, getting all that weight. He's lightly raced. I think he's got a great shout. backed him the other day. I think it was 8-1. He's still probably value now, 13-2, 7. So yeah, I think he's got a great chance.
I think the underrated horse here is Rayong. I really liked his run at Sandown on the 5th of July. That was in a listed race. And he was third that day behind Liberty Beach and Dream Shot. Liberty Beach is now rated 106, and Rayong was given her £5 that day. And I think also receiving weight from the horses at the front of the market here, he has a huge chance. So again, he gets that similar weight swing from Harpocrates or Harpocrates. So I thought Rayong was a bit underrated and a bit of a forgotten horse in the market at 14s and 12s at the moment.
Should also mention it's now a 21 runner 2-year-old race, so it could be a nightmare. But I think Las Vegas has a standout chance for me, but we shall see.
Yeah. Okay.
No, the next race is interesting. Mike has a runner.
Yes.
With a very good
so
chance.
You run West End Girl here, Mike. Yeah, tell us about West End Girl. Bit of the history and the story.
Well, she was. I bought her. I picked her out at the sale myself. Actually, she is a half sister to a horse called Fintas, who at the time of buying West End Girl, I believe he'd won his last 2 starts, and he looked a very promising horse. Unfortunately, they took him to Dubai, and it hasn't really gone to plan. And I was really buying her for a pedigree boost. I mean, the first foal, who was Fintas, was a very good foal, and second foal being by Golden Horn. She ticked a lot of boxes, which we're trying to buy fillies that have got very good pages that fit within a budget, and she did that. And to be totally honest with you, she wasn't really working that well before her Haydock win, which is her debut, and I'd have probably taken 4th or 5th that day. And she managed to win on debut, and then since then she's really just taken every run in her stride, and she's really improving. I think had she not hit the flat spot at Sandown, or if she'd been drawn on the a bit wider through the race, I think she'd have won that as well. So I think she'd be unbeaten. She went a bit too hard at Newmarket that day, but still had enough in hand to come through and win. I then was going away at the liner. She just keeps on improving, and hopefully she'll improve again here. It's a tricky race, but she deserves to be there. So we're going to give it our best shot.
What do you think of the Golden Horns at the moment, Mike?
I think I'm very, very impressed with them, really. Considering he didn't run till I think it was October as a 2-year-old. The fact that he's had runners before now and winners before now, I think, impressive. West End Girl's quite precocious, which was another thing which caught our eye, really. The dam, it's a bit of a strange pedigree. She's actually from the family of Reckless Abandon, who won the middle part for Clive Cox. And the dam herself was actually running over 6 furlongs when she retired. So there's a lot of speed in the pedigree. And it really all filters down from there. And that's probably why she's more precocious than the others. And I am very impressed with him. I think he's going to be a very good stallion. I'm going to do my best to buy another one this year, but I might struggle to get one in the budget again this year because I think people are going to be a bit keener for them.
Yeah.
It was very pricey.
Fingers crossed.
Well, she was pricey, but Golden Horn himself stands at about 60, 80. So by the time you then kept the foal and the mare for a year, or even the foal for a year and a half, by the time you sell them, you're racking up about 70,000, 80,000 in costs. So to try and get one on the cheap, you really need a vendor to be selling it almost at a loss. So quite hard to find them that fit in the bracket, and the fact that he started well, that's probably going to mean that they're not going to fit in the bracket now. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, like Kingman's stud fee must double this year, surely. Like 75,000 at the moment, I think. It's got to go above 100, surely.
It probably will go up. It won't go up as much as people think. I don't think. It's just with this. It's so hard with these. There's so many stallions around at the moment that it's quite competitive. But I think
100. I think 100. Probably cap it at 100 for now.
Right, yeah, I think you're probably right there.
Who do you think? Who do you think's the most value for money, or the best value for money stallion at the moment?
Oh, crikey!
I mean, that depends on your budget, doesn't it? You got to because there's Galileo like at private stud fee, and then you've got your
the two value for money sires. Probably looking more top. I'd look more top end because I'd know more about them. But Lope de Vega and See the Stars are the two that I think are the ones that are very good value. See the Stars, I think, is so underrated, and I'm calling a stallion that stands at about 155,000 as underrated. But I think he's as good as he's not far off the likes of Galileo and Debawi. He stands at 135, but he's his record of producing solid horses is absolutely phenomenal. And I actually do think he is, you're talking undervalued. I do think he's undervalued. If you can get a horse by See the Stars, he's the kind of the stallion that I'm looking to try and buy a filly from this year. So,
if you're a multi-millionaire, there you go. Then get yourself to See the Stars.
Yeah. Who else? I'm just trying to think of a cheaper stallion.
Shall I tell you what I think's had a few good days recently? Casamento, £2,000. He had Communique recently. He's had a few others. I could look it up, but
I think he's standing in Sweden now.
Is he? He's £3,000. He's your poor man's stairs stallion. Do you know what I mean?
I think he started.
I like
he went to
Jim.
Yeah.
I mean, we're bargain bucket here, though, aren't we?
Casamento's in the Sweden.
Yeah, in the bargain. Yeah, in the bargain bucket.
Well, this is more our price range. Right. Anyway, should we get back to the race?
James Hugo.
Yeah. I narrowed it down to 3 of 9. I think I prefer the ones with a bit more experience. This Boomer by Kingman. He won a group. Oh, sorry, she won. It's a fillies race. She won a Group 3 the other day, Goodwood, and the second Dark Lady's actually come out and won a Group 3 since. So if you're wanting something with the form's being sort of backed up, the Step Up and Trip should suit as well. Can say about West End Girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the step I'm slurring my words. There's too many bits. The Step Up and Trip should suit. She battled so gamely last time. I was really impressed with the performance at Newmarket. I think I'd have it between them, but you've got to look at Passion as well. Passion is a full sister to Capri. Obviously Capri won the Ledger, so a mile's obviously not going to be her optimum. But she's got that class angle, and obviously Aidan O'Brien's. You never know when they're going to take a massive leap forward, and she won last time. So those were the 3 I narrowed it down to. I liked Boomer and West End Girl just because they had a bit more race experience.
I actually I liked the favourite, Cloak of Spirits. I thought I got a really good speed figure for the horse on debut at Ascot, and was very visually impressive when slow away from the stalls, and ended up kind of winning very easily by 4 lengths. The form of that's also been franked since. The horse in 3rd game and set has come out and won. The horse in 6th walk on by has ran 4 times, won twice, placed 3 times. And the horse, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, it's my top speed figure actually in the race. And for a first time out performance, I was very impressed. I think it'll be tough to beat the favourite, Cloak of Spirits. But best of luck, Mike.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. Fingers crossed.
420 is a 6 furlong Pro-Am Lady Riders race. I have to admit, I didn't really go too deep into it with 17 runners. Mike, anything?
I quite liked Savalas. I thought he was actually one worth taking a chance on. He's 14 to 1. This is the easiest race he's running for quite a long time. He's got some incredibly good form. You don't even have to go back too far in his runs this year when he was beat only 4 lengths at York earlier in the year at the Dante meeting. You take the winner out, he won by 3, and he's only been beaten 3/4 of a length and a neck. And that was off 95. He's £7 lower here. He's got the large advantage of actually having one of the girls that can ride. and is a professional rather than the amateurs, which gives an enormous advantage, especially given the weight that they're allowed. It isn't, in my opinion, justified. But he's been out of form, but I think there are excuses for that. He doesn't want it really, really soft, which he's had last time and also had at Haydock. If you take those 2 runs out, he's only really had 1 run in between. I just think in a race like this with such, there's so many worse horses than he's been running against recently. I think he could spring a surprise. He's probably not one for each way betting. If that visor works, he's probably going to win. I think it'll be as simple as that. If it doesn't, then he might just be a regressive horse that is going to start going backwards. But I think he's worth taking a chance on.
Very good. James, anything for you?
Yeah, I can see that angle. The cheek pieces, when they put them on 2 starts ago, got a better performance out of him. And he was sort of slightly disappointing at York last time. But as Mike says, this is not a great race and definitely worse than he has been running in. I didn't go into great detail. I thought Nick Vedder's changed hands. Now, he's just on the basis that he's a hold-up horse. He's won at Doncaster. He loves it at Newcastle. So I was interested in him, but there wasn't much pace in the race, so I sort of soon wasn't interested in him, basically. So yeah, nothing from me.
So I think we'll stick with Mike on that one then. Savalas then. 4:55. That is the 1 mile 2 Magnus Rose Handicap Class 2 race. I'll start off here. I think Davydenko has been really progressive all season. He horsed up last time out at Newmarket by 4 lengths. And I think he could quite easily defy an £8 rise. And I don't think we're near his ceiling yet. So I'm pretty keen on Davydenko for this one. Mike, I throw over to you. I mean, he is 6-4, eh?
I was against you on the basis that I wasn't that sure on him going up in trip. I did think that was a bit of a negative for me. He's an Intello, and he's from quite a quick family. I just wasn't. I just think these 2 horses. I agree with you that I think they're quite a long way ahead of their marks. So I'm just getting it up in front of me. And so I was quite keen on Good Birthday. He's a horse that I think's run a lot better than the Bear Result a few times. It's just worth watching that Newbury run back behind Headman. I mean, that form is fantastic. Forest of Dean's in 4th that day. I mean, he's rated £17 higher. Headman's 1 off 95. He's going for the Irish Champion Stakes on Saturday. And Sinjari's been a touch disappointing, but he's still been 2nd off a mark that is quite a lot higher. And Good Birthday, he made a rapid move that day on the far side of the course when the race was developing down the near side. Personally thought he definitely didn't want to go up and trip, which was exactly what they did when they ran at Ascot over a stiff 1.5 miles. I just put a line through that personally. He was a bit disappointing again at Newmarket, but he was in the middle of the course that day. I think he had excuses and things just came right for him at Beverley last time. It was a small field, but it was competitive enough. And I actually thought he won very easily that day. And smaller field again tomorrow, round a bend with a low draw. I think he ticks a lot of boxes tomorrow, and I think he's good value against Davydenko, actually.
I see what you say, actually, on the trip. Yeah, the Dam's never had a runner beyond 1 mile. So
no, they're all quite quick.
so that's interesting.
I thought it was enough of a negative to put me off. But I agree, he's a very good horse. But I personally think they're both very good horses, and I would marginally be with Good Birthday myself.
James, where have you landed?
Yeah, no, I am in agreement with Mike here. I think especially at the slightly bigger price.
Are you just copying off Mike?
No, I've actually bet this one. I think at the slightly bigger price, I think they're very even. I was actually surprised Good Birthday only got £3 for his win at Beverley. I thought that was a strong race. I like Desert Icon, the second, and I quite like Free Comets, and Victory Command and Dark Vision are very solid. So to win that race, I was quite impressed. Mike commented on the Newbury run behind Headman, even the run at Newmarket. which Walk in the Sand run. That was a decent run, and yeah, I'm slightly disagree with Mike with the Davydenko going up in trip. Like, I think with I like Intello's going up in trip. I know I was saying about the Dam, it was a bit of a speedy family, but I think Intello does bring a lot of stamina, so I wouldn't write him off because of that. But I think you're getting a bigger price on Good Birthday, and I think the form's stronger, and yeah, and he's also won at overcost and distance, so it's never a harmful thing. So yeah, I'd side with Good Birthday.
Okay, so 2 votes for Good Birthday and 1 vote for Davydenko from me. 5:30, 7 furlong Class 2 handicap. Marsic wins it, yeah. Mike,
I didn't really have. I don't know. I think 97's a pretty high mark. I thought he'd be absolutely nothing last time. And he really did beat nothing last time, and the handicap has put him up £10 for it. But at the same time, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't really know what's going to beat him. Archaeology is quite a soft horse. The Great Air would definitely want a bit of rain, I think. And Macdal is anyone's guess after 314 days off. So it was I couldn't be backing the Fav at the prices just yet. But at the same time, I don't have any alternatives as to what's going to beat him either.
Mm-hmm. James, do you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a no bet race for me. I think the interesting one is, if you do want to take on the favourite, is this I Could Do Better for Ian Williams. Won his first 3.
It's a non-runner. It's just
oh, is it? Oh, well, forget that then. We've had the non-runner, can't win. So yeah, I'll probably just give that race a skip. To be honest, it's nothing massively interesting me.
No, I think if Macdal was fit, he'd have to go quite well. He's got some good form, and you can he was obviously disappointing on that last start, but the fact he's been off for such a long time suggests something probably isn't right. It's obviously hard to read into the jockey booking of Ryan Moore, but Saeed bin Taruf fiddles around with his jockeys, and I suspect he wouldn't have put Ryan on this if he didn't think it was actually going to run quite well. That'd be the only thing I'd suggest. Ryan's ridden 3 times for him this year, and he's finished second twice and third, so he's tended to put him on horses which are ready and with a chance. And knowing how Ryan would work, I don't think he would put him on a horse if he didn't think it was going to run very well. So if I had to put up one, if I was forced to have a bet, it would be him taking a chance. But it'd be quite nice to see him in the parade ring and see what he looks like before deciding that he was a bet. He's just the type of horse that could be so much better than his mark. Yeah.
I mean, the form that he has actually got from a year ago isn't. I didn't think it was amazing, which was the main thing putting me off, as well as obviously the break. But yeah, I mean, the jockey booking is interesting. I mean, I could do better. I'm a bit disappointed that's a non-run, actually, because there was a few angles there. They were trying him in the hood. He beat King of Comedy at Redcar, of all places. And they put him in a strong Group 3. So I thought he was interesting, but obviously non-runner. So just move on to Friday. Tom, you're on mute.
We move on. That was the beer break. Friday 2:10, 7 furlong Scepter Stakes Group 3. I'm going to put up another favourite, and that's going to be Farzine. 9-2 is the best price you can get at the moment. Why am I putting Farzine up? Roger Varian angle again. As I mentioned, he's got a very good record at the festival, particularly in the last 5 years. He's actually won this race twice. So he's sent 4 runners. He's won it twice, and he's had 3 places. 50% strike rate. He's plus 37 points with his runners. He won it with Spangled, I think it was, in 2016, and Rialtra in 2015. And the last horse he sent was Tomiris, who was 3rd in 2017. Yeah, sends Farzine in the same kind of colours as the owners of the Oaks winner, Annapurna. And I'm quite keen on for this one. Mike, anything that caught your eye in this one?
I like Farzine a lot, but I wasn't that wasn't sure what she'd actually beaten last time out. I think the time was quite considerably slower than the handicap on the card that night, despite her winning by 6 lengths. And I was just a bit concerned that I think that form's not worked out great. I think she was a bit short, but at the same time, this looked a really bad race to me. I was probably more keen to take a chance with something that might be improving. And if I have a bet, which I'm not sure if I will, because I went through this race for a long time and struggled to find one, but I thought Posted was overpriced at 12-1. At this time of year, fillies can really get going, and she's won her last 2 starts. Though the form before that's not great, I do think that when these fillies get going, they can really improve. And she, because of her rating, she could go off quite a big price in the race. I just think she's interesting. She's obviously in form, and I think she could surprise. She could run very well in what I think is a bad race, but then that's might also play into the hands of Farzine.
Yeah, interesting Posted. So by Kingman out of a Group 3 winning Damn Time Away. Yeah, quite nice. Good spot. James, for you?
I don't have a massive opinion. The one that sort of caught my eye slightly was Mott Juiced for your favourite angle, Roger Varian. And that's Zany.
Well, one of them got a win.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, looked a really progressive horse, a 2-year-old, 3-year-old season, was second to Kabbalah in the Nell Gwyn. Then ran in the 1,000 Guineas. Hasn't been great this season though, but has been running in decent races. This looks weaker than the races she has been running in. I think it's interesting in that you'd presume Atzeni is the first choice, although the one you tipped is favourite. But yeah, no strong opinion. I just thought she was interesting.
Do you want to hear a funny fact?
Yeah.
Posted is technically the aunt of Mott Juiced.
Huh? No way. Oh yeah.
They are. Posted is basically the half sister to the dam of Mott Juiced, who are all bred in by the same family and owned by the same person.
Right. Well, yeah, they're in the same colours, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe a 1-2. Maybe the plan. This has been the plan.
Very possibly, but no, it's a strange thing to see on the breeding side.
Yeah, definitely. But no strong opinion from me. It's a fillies race, Group 3. Ugh, it's a bit, I don't know, bit horrible, bit difficult. I like to go for the easy races.
240, 1 mile 6, Mallard handicap. It's Class 2 race. Sarug is currently the favourite. Mike, we start with you. Who caught your eye in this one?
I didn't really have a lot to offer. This was a really bad race, isn't it, for the prize money? 6 runners. It's very hard to get away from Sarug. The form that he has taken a big boost. He's improving. He's lightly raced compared to the rest of these, really. And I mean, you can pick holes all day in the rest of them, really. And he's the one that's probably the only solid one. I'm surprised that he's odds against at the moment. I think he will go off odds on just because it's very hard to make a case for the others. But that's not overly appealing either. But I think he will go off odds on.
I thought it was a horrible race. Again with a gun to the head, I went for Charles Kingsley. Purely because I think he's quite solid and normally runs to his mark and he's fairly reliable. What was notable for me is that Dettori's back on board. They had him booked for a valuable handicap at Goodwood on the 3rd of August. And since he's been off and they're bringing him back here, and Frankie takes the ride again. When Frankie rides for the Johnson stable, he's got a strike rate of 22% and he's plus 13 in the last 2 years. So that was notable for me, but that's a scrape in the barrel selection, really. James?
No, I think this is straightforward. If you like your favourites, I think this is a strong one. It's a horse I've always been keen on actually. He's by Nathaniel. He's just getting better with age. Good to firm ground. 14 furlongs. He's 3 out of 3. That's what he wants. William Buick takes the ride. He won him last time out, beating the Max We Can, who's a very progressive stayer who has since come out and won. I just think he's very, very solid. If you get involved at short prices, I think this is one to get involved with.
So Sarug for you then. Good. 3:10 on Friday. That is, well, it's the Doncaster Cup Group 2 race. I mean, obviously Stradivarius wins, doesn't he? So I'll ask you both: does Stradivarius win? And second question: is he the best staying flat horse we've seen in the last decade or 20 years? So, Mike, I got you first.
Yes, I think he is. He should win if he repeats his form. He's not going to get beat. I think he. You're bringing in Yates into.
Yeah. With Yates, I was very difficult. I think
hard. I think he is a better horse than Yates because I think if they ran Stradivarius in the Arc this year, he'd run very, very really.
He's probably a classier horse. If they ran over anything shorter than 2 miles, Stradivarius would beat him out of sight. But 2.5 miles at Ascot, I think that'd be a hell of a race. But I'd probably
it's a hard one. I think Stradivarius.
It's versatility. Yeah, versatile.
Yeah,
go
very,
on.
very versatile. I think it's a great race. I still think one day I think I think they're going to retire him actually at the end of this year. But I'm amazed they've never put headgear on DXB. They can never get this horse to go fast enough. They didn't even go. They couldn't go fast enough at York. He's led all the way. They're urging him along, and and then he's done for toe in a stayers race down the straight at York, and he gets outpaced, put back into third, and then he rallies again late on to only get beat a length and a quarter. For me, I'm surprised he hasn't got headgear on. I thought that was the time to do it tomorrow. But for him to win, he has to go really fast, and the faster he goes, the more problems it takes out of the equation for Stradivarius. So it's a bit of a catch-22 for them anyway. But Stradivarius, he's just so classy, isn't he? It's just, I thought tomorrow giving away the weight, that was on Friday. Sorry, I think that would have been the time to get him. But Stradivarius should get it done. Be good to see him get it done, really.
Do you know who is the highest rated in the last 10 years kind of staying flat horse? So Stradivarius is on 121 now. Yates' highest mark, I think, it's 122. Order of St. George was actually the highest rated.
Yeah, he reminded me.
123.
He was a very good fourth in the Arc behind Enable.
Yeah, he was a classy horse.
Mm-hmm. He was a very good horse, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But didn't he get beat by Wicklow Brave in an Irish Ledger?
I think he was easy. He could throw in some pad performance.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't as consistent as Stradivarius. I think the interesting thing is with this race, and this is how bollocks ratings are. Stradivarius rated 121, as you just said, Tom. DXB rated 119 is getting £5. Should be favourite. Just, I'm surprised they're actually running him here. Maybe it's because they're getting nice, good to firm ground, and it's easy money. It's probably the reason. But they didn't run him here last year. They just went straight to Ascot. So maybe he's going to have it's less time between the race. So you never know. I mean, DXB ran in the same race, so it's not really an angle there. But yeah, I mean, it's very hard to. I wouldn't be betting against Stradivarius, put it that way.
Another interesting horse to throw at you, it's Septimus. Won the Doncaster Cup in 2007. He was rated 122, so he was apparently at his peak. He also won an Irish Ledger. as well.
You always get the feeling though Stradivarius could win by further if he needed to, but he doesn't need to, so he can't really. That's the problem with ratings of these Group 1s. You can't get a big rating unless you win by far. That's why Enables ratings probably lower than it could potentially be. Like Gaia's just been given a crazy rating from Timeform, 130 or something. But so it's all relevant. But yeah, Stradivarius wins this. Blogger is celebrating in the paddock. the Stallions on at 1 to 2 or whatever price he is. Absolute party time.
Good. 345 is the 5 furlong Flying Childer Stakes. I did a pace video and pace and draw bias video on this earlier on in the week, and I have a theory that you want to be on the flanks, so you want to be drawn very low or in the lowest stalls or in the highest stalls, because I have a theory that the horses in the middle end up getting swamped from either flank at the end. I think in the last 6 years, 4 of the last 6 winners have come from the flanks, basically. So I'm working the flank strategy in this one. But we also have there's some good horses in here. So Alali, who's a Group 2 winner from Deville from July and was also 5 lengths behind my top-rated 2-year-old so far this year, Earthlight. Heads the market at the moment. Mike, who do you like in this one? Are you keen on the favourite or elsewhere?
I'm not sure. Al-Ali, I think I said he's a proper 2-year-old, and I just wonder how much scope he's got. It's interesting that he got beat last time. It was probably the ground, but at Ripon, I remember when he was at the start, right, thinking that he didn't have a huge amount of scope to progress. And he was clearly very early. He won at Ascot, and I just wonder whether he probably is. You know, the thing is, it's still early days for these horses, but I wouldn't fancy him to be beating these as 3-year-olds. I've been impressed with Alligator Alley. He keeps getting better. He's getting faster. And everything went wrong at York last time. He was badly hampered coming out the stalls, which you have to look carefully for because Racing TV have still got the stalls covered up when they start. And he ends up a long way back, and he has to sort of pick his way through. And to be honest, I think it will be quite close between them without having a strong view on it. And given that I'm not sure Al-Ali is going to keep progressing at the same rate, I'd probably be happy to take him on. And I think Alligator Alley is the one that I'd probably rather be with. It's certainly at the prices. I think it's a lot closer than the prices suggest.
Yeah. James, for you?
I really don't have a strong opinion, to be honest. An original look at the race, I did think Ali would be hard to beat. I mean, it's hard to. I mean, you look at his form, and it's pretty strong. No strong opinion though, to be honest.
The one that I like, and again, it's kind of based on this flank opinion. I quite like Flaming Princess drawn in 1 for Fahy. 12 to 1, I think, at the moment. So it's an each way play. But I was quite taken by her first run. So let me just find where she was. Flaming Princess. I think that was at Ripon or Redcar. Flaming Princess. Yeah, it was at Nottingham, sorry. So I quite liked her first run at Nottingham. There's quite a few subsequent winners in behind. So if you look that day, you've got Alreo, who's been out and won, Port Stance, who's been out and won, No Limits, who's been out and won twice, Picture Frame, who's been out and won, Queen down in 9th, who's also been out and won, albeit at a lower class. And I've just got a theory that she's been running on ground that's had too much cut for her. So her subsequent runs at Ascot were on good to soft. I don't think she needs that. She did all right at Deauville, actually, to win a listed race there. But yeah, I've got a real strong opinion about the draw here, and I'm really keen on horses on the outside, and again on my speed figures, and particularly this run from earlier in the season. I quite like this Flaming Princess.
You were
definitely a bit to find on the ones with.
You were buzzing to see this Flaming Princess drawn on the flanks, weren't you, Tom? Because I watched your pace preview, and you were like, Ooh, if that's drawn in the flanks, I quite like it. So when you saw one, you were like, ooh, I'll definitely say that on the podcast.
Yeah, of course. Cool.
Yeah, I knew
Let's
that was
watch-
coming.
Go and watch the replays of the Flying Shoulders. Look, well,
I watched your excellent YouTube video. Apart
Thank you.
from the way you didn't show the Soldier's Call race.
Because it didn't fit my theory. Because it came down the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Selective video highlights.
Very.
Yeah. Okay. Good. 427 furlongs flying Scotsman race. Some decent types in here, including my bet of the week.
Wow.
Mike, we start with you. Who do you like in this one?
I didn't have an opinion, so.
Oh, start with me. You never start with me. Mike's getting all the starts tonight.
No, go with James. I didn't. I struggled to have an opinion here. That's interesting. Looking forward to hearing it.
Well, I think you'll like what I'm going to say, Mike, because the horse that I like is going to give your horse a nice form boost. And that is, I'm going to give Visionary another chance.
Yes.
I mean, after watching his races, I don't think I've ever seen a 2-year-old so just big and gangly and like he's all legs and it's like he's surely going to be much better at 3. I mean, his first run, obviously, all the sectional guys were loving it, and he was the best thing since Frankel or whatever. He then went to Newmarket again. He was third, but he was only he's a short head away. And then Royal Lytham has come out and ran third, 1 length behind Siskin in a Group 1. Platinum Stars come out and won the listed race at Ripon easily. Guildsman has run pretty well in a Group 3 behind Lope Fernandez. So the form's strong. I don't think Goodwood really suited him running around that bend. As I said, he was just all legs, and it didn't really go up to plan for him. So I think the potential's there. He's sort of already shown what he can do, and I don't think this is the strongest race, to be honest. I mean, the Aidan O'Brien horse Wichita's won 1 race, and when they win first time out, they do tend to be pretty good. But I think I'll stick with Visionary. I mean, he's favourite, but yeah, Visionary. I quite like him for this. I think the sort of galloping track as well at Doncaster. The long straight. I think it'll suit him.
Yeah, Visionary's my bet of the week. I've got him absolutely miles clear. I mean, it's largely because of this run. That run that kind of got everyone wetting themselves about him. It's the Newmarket run on the 8th of June, but it was seriously hot on speed figures. My second highest figure is also his run at Newmarket on the 11th of July. I don't think any of them can get near him, to be honest. And I'm really hot on him. I'm very keen on him. And I think there's been like a bit too much kind of press reaction against him because of like the hype from James Willoughby and Sir Simon Rowlands that he's now become, let's even say, not a laughing stock. But people are opposing.
He did disappoint last time at Goodwood. He was quite far behind, obviously Pinatubo and Positive and that. But I mean, I think Lope Fernandez was third. He's come out and won since. Positive's come out and won. Pinatubo looks like just like a really, really good 2-year-old. So I mean, it's still strongish form. I'm sure that track's all wrong for him. You know what I mean? That was the 30th of July. We're into September now. A little bit more time to grow into himself. I don't think this is the strongest race. I think if you're getting, I don't know, is there an anti-post market? I haven't seen one.
I can't see one, no.
I'm seeing him forecast at 2-1. I think 2-1 is a decent price, to be honest. I think.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Gobble it up. Gobble it up. 455. That is a maiden race. James, we'll start with you.
He's such a wanker. Surprisingly, I don't have anything for this race. Said Bin Sur won it last year with Royal Marine. He sends Raheb here, who's unraced.
And
Could be
what is interesting is Royal Marine is by Ravens Pass and Raheb is also by Ravens Pass. So that was my only interesting comment on the race as well.
I did look at the dam though, and she hasn't had any other progeny, and she wasn't amazing. She was all right. I think she was like 80 or 90 rated, so it didn't really. I didn't think, oh wow, that's a good bet. So yeah, definitely a swerve from me.
Yeah, Mike, anything for you?
Not really. I didn't. Yeah, it was a strange race. Maori Knight comes out a long way clear on my figures, to be honest. It's not really a bet I'm overly keen to get too involved in, to be honest. He did run very well, but he certainly looks like he probably already wants further, though, and 7 furlongs is going to be a bit tight. It's a bit, doesn't make much. This is a race for staying horses, basically, but run over 7 furlongs. It's a bit strange, and that explains the fact why there's only 6 runners, which is a bit silly.
5:30 easy, a 6 furlong Class 2 handicap. James, there's probably loads in here that I know you've got opinions on. I haven't got an opinion on out here, so I will start with you again.
It's a bit meh, this race. It's a bit. I'm not really feeling anything. I don't think anything's massively well handicapped. I mean, Golden Apollo's well handicapped, but doesn't really want it firm ground. Engine's Art's a horse that I've lost plenty of money on. So I'd be interested in him. He an all right second to Danzino by half a length, 2 starts to go at Haydock. But he just doesn't win. And he looked like a potential sort of Group 3, even Group 2 horse in the early days. He won the 2-year-old race at Ripon, the listed race, but he's never really kicked on. So it's another race I'm going to skip. It's difficult cards. This St. Ledger meeting, really difficult, I thought.
Mike, anything?
No, nothing for me. Difficult, verging on bad. Loads of these races are so poor, aren't they? I mean,
they really are. I was saying to Tom earlier, like, there's a lot of garbage races.
Yeah, I think Flavius Titus, if he's back to his best, he should run very well. I think his Newmarket form is. I'd probably argue it was slightly the best, but he's beaten some good horses, and what his on the Warpath run was good. You know, he ran a stinker in the Stewards Cup, but not every horse runs well at Goodwood. And
I think I backed him in the Stewards Cup, actually, so that's what put me off that.
His first terrible run.
It was awful. It came last.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's won over course and distance. He also has a place, so he obviously likes it here.
If I was pricing the race up, I'd make him favourite. That would be it, really.
It's your Roger Varian angle, Tom.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Just follow that. Just back Roger Varian's runners blind. Didn't have a place last year.
Oh, well, maybe don't.
All the years before, it was like printing money.
This next race is even worse.
I think they had a virus. 6 o'clock. I mean, I've got nothing in the 6 o'clock.
No,
Mike, have you?
No, rubbish race.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, good. We agree. Well, and again, we'll be in the pub at 6 o'clock rather than on the race course. So, Mike, you're going over to Island Day for the weekend.
Yeah, weekend of golf and racing for me. Via Doncaster tomorrow. So going up from London to Doncaster tomorrow, off to Dublin tomorrow night, and then 3 nights over there. So,
will you be going to Coppers?
I've never heard of Coppers, so you'll have to let me know.
Oh yes,
we've been. It's the best nightclub in Dublin.
Okay.
Everybody knows it.
Copper Face Jacks. Just ask a local.
Anyone will know.
Yeah, recommend. You want to go to Harcourt Street?
Okay.
In Dublin, it's just below kind of St. Stephen's Square. It's good. There's Coppers. It's very weird. There's
if you go to Coppers, I don't know how much golf you'll be playing the next day if you go to Coppers. To be fair.
Oh, okay.
There's Dicey's as well.
With a hangover.
Dicey's up next door. Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's good. Anyone who's Irish listening to this will be thinking, like, who are these horrendous English blokes talking about going to the worst?
No, they love it at Coppers.
Clubs Yeah, some of
Irish
them love
people love
an actual good one is Whelan's.
Okay.
Whelan's is a good one. Whelan's is a good Irish bar with live music. So that's a proper tip from me.
Perfect.
Coppers, trust me.
Better than my actual horse tips. I don't even know where I am now. I got
We're on
excited
to
talking
Saturday.
about Dublin nightlife.
Saturday, Tom.
All right, good. Yeah,
The 150.
yeah. We're going on Saturday, Mike. We're at the we're at Doncaster on
Need some
Saturday.
wins Saturday.
Yeah. So this is the big day. James is either going to be very happy or very, very
Well,
angry.
I'm already quite angry.
Come 6
To be fair,
p.m.
Tom.
Why
do you think? What's happening on Saturday?
Why? Because we're not going
No,
on
what
Friday.
have I been
as well?
betting for about 3 months for Saturday?
Oh yeah, Jesus. Oh
Okay.
Jesus. Constantinople's not there. Oh, God. How much money did you have anti-post in the end on Constantinople?
I don't actually know, which is bad. I
Was it
managed
more than a grand?
No, it wasn't more than a grand. I managed to cash out some. But yeah, it was a canny wedge for your average punter, I would say. And do you know what's going to annoy me more? I was saying to someone today, I said, unless Logician bolts up, if anything else wins, I'm going to be like, well, I probably would have won the bet. Even though he's an absolute rogue, with the headgears on, the head cheekers, if he beat Logician, I think if Logician doesn't win, Constantinople would have won. I think that's fair to say. Because it's a poor race behind Logician. Oh, we'll get to that in a minute anyway.
So Mike, if Constantinople was still in this hemisphere,
let's do the rest of the card.
I want to talk about Constantinople. Mike, do you think Constantinople would have won?
Do you think he'd have won? I'm not sure. He'd have run okay and probably finished second again.
I had him each way. That's fine. I had him each way. That's fine.
He'd have been a good each way bet, wouldn't he?
Anyway, 33s, 25s, 20s, 14s, 10s, 12s. Any price I had him.
Post is brave though. You just never know what they're going to do, where they're going to switch them.
Well, to be fair, the whole angle was he's a full brother to Bondi Beach. He just looked like he wanted the trip. Like it looked like he was going to what he was running in the right races. He was going for the ledger. And then you've got these Australian wankers coming in and buying all the Ballydoyle string. Like, what's all that about?
Buying less and winning Ashes series.
Fuck the Australians. If there's any Australians listening to this, fuck you.
It looks like they might. If they sold him or they just sent him over there.
No, they've sold him. He's in training with
David Hayes.
Yeah.
Still down as the same owners. Is that? Or it's definitely been sold. Yeah.
It's okay though, because I've bet him at 33-1 to get it all back in the Melbourne Cup.
Oh God.
So 150 on Saturday. That's the 5 furlong Portland handicap. The Fav at the moment, all the Leeds fans will be back in at the Elsa. Top shagger Kevin Stott takes the ride for Kevin Ryan. I will start. I like a moment of madness for this.
Is that
he won this last year off 90? That's because he won it last year. He won it off 99 last year, and he goes here again off 95. He must have a massive chance. Jamira Bridge is also entered but not jocked up. I tipped Jamira Bridge last time out when he was cruising, and I don't know what Oisin Murphy was doing. I don't normally like to give jockey stick, but that was a very weird one.
He still hasn't put him in the race.
Yeah, he's still waiting. He's still waiting behind a crown of horses.
Yeah,
3 weeks later.
Not as bad.
So, I mean, if Jamira Bridge turns up, I think he's got a win in him before the end of the season.
The only wins at down.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
So, moment of madness for me. Mike, we got you.
I like him. To be fair, he'll run very well. He looks like he's not been lined up for it, but it's certainly been the plan for a long time, and certainly since his recent run anyway. I've got him well handicapped. To be honest, I'm a big Bielsa fan.
Ooh.
But God, he looks so good. I can't believe that 93 is the limit of his ability. He absolutely tanked through that race last time. I mean, a head doesn't do it justice at all for me. I just think that, and as long as, you know, it's not my kind of betting race, this kind of handicap. But
sorry, Mike, to interrupt. What is your betting race? What do you look for when you're looking for a bet? What was your ideal race be?
Oh, an ideal race would be on the all-weather.
Wow.
It would be a handicap over 7 furlongs or a mile. That would be my ideal, but I'd still bet on all of them. But
how many runners?
Wouldn't make too much difference, really. Probably ideal, probably 7 or 8. Smaller field.
Do you just bet win only?
No, I bet quite a lot each. Well, no, I do. I bet made 9 in 10 bets are win only, but I certainly bet each way quite a bit. I followed it for like 6 or 7 years and made a lot more doing the each way bets than not doing them.
Right. Interesting. Very interesting.
Is there anything, Mike? Is there anything you avoid? So, say James religiously avoids sprint handicaps. Is there anything that you just hate and stay away from?
No, I handicap every horse that runs in every single race, and I will just analyse the ratings when it comes up to it. I mean, this sort of race, to be honest, gives me a headache from a punting point of view. You know, when I'm trying to cover as many races as there are on a Saturday, this is kind of the race that, unless something's a real standout on my figures, that I to be honest, I won't even bother. And like Moment of Madness, I've got £2 well in on his last run. He sticks out. Like, he sticks out the way he is. I mean, the thing that you were saying about ratings earlier, they're obviously subjective. Like Bielsa going up £6 for a head win, really, that's what I was kind of saying, but I didn't do it justice. I mean, on it. Thing is, if there was a horse 2 or 3 lengths clear last time at Thursday, he'd have gone and got him. You know, he reopposes Lahore, who we beat last time. Lahore's not going to win. Bielsa's just improving the whole time. This would be a bit of a nightmare for me. I wouldn't, you know, I'd probably back Bielsa given he was my best rated, but I wouldn't bother going through the rest of the race. For me, there's a lot better bets on the card than trying to fiddle around to nick a few quid in the Portland, really, unless I really think something's very well handicapped. So a race like that, I'll just skim over and something really does stand out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. James, for you?
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, obviously Bielsa's totally unexposed, and as Mike said, like you wouldn't think his mark now is his ceiling. I quite like Dazzling Dan. He's got good course and distance form. Again, he looks to improve, and he's won last time out. He's won over course and distance. He's only a 3-year-old, but until we get final decks and go into a bit more, Dazzling Dan, but I don't know. I'll come back to that one.
Mm-hmm. So the 225 is the Park Stakes. It's a Group 2 race over 7 furlongs. Shine So Bright for Andrew Balding heads the market at the moment after a win at York last time out, beating Lawrence by a nose. I will start here. I do really like Shine So Bright. I thought it was a really nice run last time out. However, with the kind of typical pace bias at Donny and the way the horse won the race and ran the race last time out at York, I'm not really sure the kind of the track configuration is really going to suit. I'm going to go with a variant angle again, and I quite like Turgeman here. I think I like his form from his Newcastle run. I like his 2 Newcastle runs actually. Also beating Wiretap, who's a horse that I like as well. I think there's still improvement to unlock there, and again variant angle. The fact that he gets £3 in weight from Shine So Bright as well, I quite like. So I'm keen to take on Shine So Bright with Turgeman. Mike, who do you like here? And James is gone.
I don't disagree with anything really. To me, the market looks about right here. Shine So Bright has got a penalty that's going to make life a bit harder. King of Change obviously has a big chance if he runs his Guinea's form is good. I liked Turgid, ran well. I didn't have an awful lot to add really. No, it didn't have an awful lot to add. I'm just trying to work. Where's Jim Crowley on Saturday? Is he in Ireland?
Don't know. Let's have a look.
Can't see him anywhere, to be honest. Maybe he's suspended.
It's on holiday.
Dane O'Neill's taking the ride on Turgid.
He's at Doncaster tomorrow. So
yeah, and then he disappears. Nope, no idea. Maybe he's in America or somewhere like that. But anyway, he's not there. But I think he ran. It's very competitive race, isn't it? To me, the prices look about right. I think it's tricky. I don't have a strong opinion. Shine So Bright will run very well. He's very tough. It'll be a hard nut to crack on a course like that where he can get rolling. That's been my only view.
So while we wait for James, let's maybe talk about your string a little bit. So is there anyone you're particularly excited about for next year? Perhaps a purchase from this year, or perhaps someone who hasn't had their kind of ideal conditions this year that you still think is well handicapped or has got some untapped potential?
There aren't too many still unexposed anymore. They're kind of all been there. I mean, it's the 2-year-olds really, the exciting ones. Positive and West End Girl. I mean, I hope that they can both step up now. It'll be interesting. Positive, we're going to sort of sit on our hands for a bit and wait until Pinatubo plays his hand next on the weekend, and how he runs will probably decide what we do with Positive. If Pinatubo goes and wins by 5 or 6 lengths, then we probably won't take him on in the Dewhurst. But if Pinatubo only scrambles home by a neck or something like that, we might well give him another crack at Newmarket. I'd be very, very confident that he won't beat us 5 lengths again. It'll just be how close we can get to him. And that will be the big question.
Mm-hmm. Good. And are you buying in the October sales? Is there what is there a specific type that you might be looking for, or looking for yearlings for older horses?
We'll probably try and buy one or two yearlings. Really, trying to buy good fillies at the moment. Really, that'll progress. We've got a nice filly called Star in the Making who won at Salisbury the other day. I think we'll try and buy 1 or 2. I've got 10 now at the moment, so I need to sort of keep those numbers down really, and try. And I've got a few mares that sell in December, and then I'll try and sell 2 or 3 of the horses in training as well.
Have you got any decent ones that you want to sell on the cheap? Because we're looking to buy one.
Because we'll have them, yeah. any that aren't up to your class, but you can send up north to Ripon and Redcar and Catterick. We'll have them. James 225, the Park Stakes. Shine So Bright is the fab. Did anything for you in this?
I suppose the interesting one is King of Change coming back. Obviously, second in the Guineas. It's, if you believe that run, obviously there was all that issue about the pace and the draw bias, and we're still not 100% sure what was the truth there. So he's hard to weigh up. It's a shame Sedan Sort's got this penalty, because I'd quite like him back on good to firm ground over this course and distance that he's won at. It's a track that suits him, coming from the back. I just worry that one of the 3-year-olds might have a little bit in hand over him and could sort of progress past him. Obviously, Shine So Bright beat Lawrence last time. That's obviously really strong form. But yeah, so no real bet for me, to be fair. You're on mute, Tom Doyle.
Yeah, that was beer time again. Yeah.
It's a good job we got the cameras on now, because I wouldn't have known that before. You'd have just been talking to nothing for ages.
Just gone out of the fridge. 3 o'clock Champagne Stakes, 7 furlongs. Mum's Tipple is here. What do we think about Mum's Tipple? Mike, we'll start with you because obviously you've got kind of like a vested interest, obviously, in the best quality 2-year-olds. What did you think about that run at York? Were you blown away by it, like everyone else seemed to be?
Sorry, I'm on mute then. You had to. At the time was good. I gave him 121. But it's kind of a Visionary performance, isn't it? It's really impressive. And, you know, how is he going to back it up again? His debut run stacked up well. It's a hard one, isn't it? I mean, it's got to be a question of whether he turns up. The thing is, Richard Hannon's got two-year-olds here that both dominate the market, and only one of them's going to run. The betting suggests that it's not going to be Mum's Tipple, though, the way it's going at the moment.
Fred jocked up, isn't he, with Buick?
What's that, sorry?
Is Fred jocked up with William Buick?
No, Buick's on Royal Crusade, but as we
outdated thing.
That's Threat.
Yeah, he's on Royal Crusade, yeah.
Royal Crusade, yeah. It wouldn't surprise. I'd be a bit surprised if they stepped Mum's Tipple up to 7 furlongs at this stage. I mean, you post such a mind-blowing figure over 6. I don't see why you'd step up to 7. Personally, I think that would be a negative. It looks a weak. It's gonna, you know, we're talking at the moment. There's 18 runners. I can imagine by the time it gets to the actual race, there's only going to be about 6. You know, Aidan O'Brien's got loads entered. Richard Hannon's got 3. Mark Johnson's got Visionary, who's obviously not going to run. I think it's going to be weak. I mean, if this is going out anti-post, I mean, I can't get on anti-post myself, but I'd be backing Royal Crusade and One Elcano at the moment because I don't think they're going to go off 7-1. And it's just, you know, who's going to run from Aidan's lot. Armory's not running because that's running on Sunday, so it could turn out to be quite a weak race. This, I'd be a bit concerned.
James, anything for you here? I'm just noticing that One Elcano's already jocked up with Adzani for Kevin Ryan, so that might be, as you say, that's the anti-post one. James, anything for you?
Yeah, no, but I mean, as Mike says, it's really hard to see who's actually going to run. Aidan O'Brien's got a lot in there, but I mean, I suppose Harpocrates isn't going to run. King Neptune's not going to run. They're both running tomorrow. Was it Armory and Arizona both could go could run in Ireland. Mum's Tipple would obviously be very interesting to see again, just to see. I mean, I think you've always got to question a run like that and see it again before you believe it. It was a sales race at the end of the day. It wasn't a group or listed race or anything. And if a few of them have underperformed, although it looks like a fantastic performance, it might not have been as good as we thought, even though the times boys suggest it was. But also it's hard for a 2-year-old to back up that kind of run. So I think you've got to wait and see the market here, as I can't really suggest anything until we do.
Yeah, if they both went, and I'm taking Trip out of it actually, but just on bare speed figures, I do have Mum's Tipple rated higher than Threat. So, and Mum's Tipple's figure was ridiculous, carrying 131 pounds in that York run, which is 4 pounds more than a kind of a typical 2-year-old's kind of weight. It was a knockout figure. So I'm mad keen on that horse going forward. It's hard to figure out by footsteps in the sand. So it's hard to figure out where the horse is going to end up.
Won a Guineas.
Mile would be the real stretch, wouldn't it?
Well,
the mile would be the stretch, though, looking at the progeny.
Don't know. You never know.
Best progeny is probably Larchmont Lad.
Yeah, but he won a Guineas himself, didn't he? Puts up in the stand.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to see where he goes next, I think, before you have a very strong opinion on him. It was obviously an unbelievable performance. I still can't believe he was 11-2 on the day.
So 335. That is then the St. Ledger. James's heart is broken because Constantinople isn't going. And the horse that beat him last time out of York, Logician, for John Gosden, is now the red hot favourite in the market, followed by Sir Dragonair and then Il Paradiso for Aidan O'Brien. James, we go to you. Even Ron Priestley's in there. I know you like Ron Priestley a lot.
I like Ron Priestley. I like Ron Priestley in handicaps, not in classic.
You followed him all season.
Yeah, he's won me some decent money, but I'd be very shocked if he won this.
Where's your emotional connection? Can anything beat Logician or not? It's a bit of a damp squib now, isn't it?
Well, the angle, obviously, I was massively in the Constantinople camp all summer. Even when Logician beat him in the Voltager, I thought there was angles to get him beat. I thought, obviously, from Constantinople's, there was the trip move, there was the headgear, blah, blah, blah. But Logician, he's only had 4 runs. I didn't think he looked slow. So this step up in trip, it might be a step too far. I mean, it's 1 mile 6 furlongs and a half a furlong. It's, you know what I mean, it's a tiny bit further. They've obviously ran him sparingly for a reason, and they progressed him really slowly through the ranks. He was running in pretty poor races until he ran in the Voltager, but he was very impressive. And for my sanity and for your well-being on Saturday, Tom, let's hope Logician wins by 5 lengths, because I'm going to be raging if he doesn't. If anything in here, barring potentially Sir Dragonair, you can sort of forget his last run. That wasn't his showing. All the rest, I would not have been worried about Constantinople beating. So apart from them, so if one of them two doesn't win, I mean, Jesus Christ, I think I might even watch this race at the bar. But yeah, so I kind of hope Logician wins comfortably, because then it puts any doubt to mind. Because this is a poor race. Let's be fair. Norway's been terrible. So Ron Priestley's a good horse. Don't get me wrong. He's probably a Group 3 horse. South Pacific actually beat Constantinople at Ascot, but was getting a hell of a lot of weight. Western Australia's been poor. I don't think Technician's good enough. Nath Road was battered last time. Il Paradiso, I think, was very much flattered by getting a lot of weight from Stradivarius, and I don't think Stradivarius got out of second gear that day. We were there, and didn't even look like he broke a sweat. So yeah, it's a poor race. So you would hope that you would think Logician, if he stays, he wins basically.
Mike, for you?
Yeah, I think you've summed it up pretty well. Especially, I think that the 2 favourites, Logician and Sir Dragonair. I mean, they're favourite. They're the right favourites, but you could pick holes in both of them. They couldn't you? I mean, Logician going up 2.5 furlongs is a real, it's a question mark in itself. And Sir Dragonair, I could never back him on fast ground, so I need to be some rain.
That's a huge problem.
I don't think it's coming either. So, it's going to be a tough one. Sir Ron Priestley stays well. He's got to be the right price though at 8-1. Stupidly, I thought he was going to be a Ledger horse earlier in the year, and I didn't back him, and he was 20 then, and now he's single figure.
I've actually just read that Donnacha comes over for the ride on Sir Dragonair, and Ryan Moore goes to Ireland.
He's staying over there, is he?
Yeah. So Donnacha's on Sir Dragonair, and Ryan's on obviously all the ones in Ireland. So maybe that tells you something in itself, that they're not overly confident.
Depends. So yeah, well, it depends which horse they're going to run in the Irish Champion, I suppose. If they run Japan, it'll be. But yeah, I think I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think it's a bad race. I couldn't back Logician at that price. I think the trip is a big problem. He hasn't been tested over that trip, I don't think yet. He's won a handicap in second gear, and the Voltager, I don't think he came out of second gear then either. I don't think that was a great race. I think Il Paradiso is slightly better than you gave him credit for, but then he's not vintage Ledger stuff either. I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if he improved to take the Ledger, but I'd be against him all of next year if he did.
Yeah. For me, it's one of those races that's weak at the front, and you're looking for the O'Brien string to maybe pick up some scraps somewhere. I backed him for the Derby. He's been awful all season. Norway's got to be better than what we've seen. I mean, so by Galileo, out of Love Me True, who's the dam of Ruler of the World, Derby winner, Duke of Marmalade. So there's some decent class there. 1 mile 4 always seemed to me to be the obvious trip, of course. But Norway's got to be better than what we've seen. So I'll be chancing Norway each way at 25s, I think. And there's 33s you can get as well. Because Norway's the one out of the kind of the O'Brien Rags, South Pacific, Barbados, Western Australia.
Well, someone's going to finish in the places at a big price. So
yeah.
And then you just hoping Logician doesn't get the distance. But do you know what? He might just be so much of a class edge, it might not even matter. To be fair, we have no idea how good he is. He won the Voltager. I mean, once Constantinople was beat, Moore didn't go hard on him, and he sort of just let him come home behind him. But Jesus Christ, Logician was in second gear. Like, you just don't know how good he is. And the Frankels have been staying really well. Maybe potentially more as 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, but he could just be the class above. And in Gosden we trust, basically. I wouldn't be betting it. It's a take a punt on one of the O'Brien outsiders to try and hit the frame bet kind of race, isn't it?
Should we move on? Any last comments on the Legend?
Yeah, I actually hope the O'Brien string don't win. Just to be really bitter about it.
He obviously wasn't as good as Barbados, or they wouldn't have sold him.
Oh, wow.
Dude, 410 on Saturday.
Barbados was second in the Queen's Vase. It's a good race.
Good trial.
Yeah, good trial.
Yeah. 410. It's a nursery handicap. I haven't looked. Mike, have you looked?
Looks a bad race. The rest of the card doesn't look great.
Yeah, 410 is a no, James.
No, it's a no from me. The 410.
445. It's a no from me.
I haven't really looked at it yet, but I like all this. I do like all this is does in these handicaps. I think he's got.
You back all this is us every time it runs.
Yeah, because
to be fair, he does all right.
I backed him in the all-weather mile, which he won, and I backed him at Chester last time, which he won. Get him in these this kind of handicap race. He's run really well in Group 2 at Doncaster before, nearly won. It suits the style of the race. I just think he's got a class edge on the majority of the field, definitely. Weights, no issue. Can carry big weights. I would genuinely would like this is us if he lines up here.
He might be our get out of jail free card on Saturday afternoon.
Could be.
After we lay Logician for the Ledger, place lay on Logician, and he wins by 10 then. 555. It's a no from me.
Terrible race. That almost midnight is quite an interesting horse. I don't know what happened last time. Hanging right throughout. I mean, something was wrong. If you were able to find out the reason why he ran so badly that day, I think he'd probably be the one to be with. But God knows how you're going to find that out. He's a talented horse. That they gave him too much to do at Ascot. Went behind Sextant, but he'd run very well in the Queen's Bars. Behind a lot of the Ledger horses. I think he's better than 98, but slightly worrying in his last run. So no bet until that reason is revealed.
James, anything?
Just going back to all this is us. He was in the Allen Wood and the Allen Wood. Yeah, in the Allenwood Plumbing and Heating Park Stakes at Doncaster, the 15th September last year, he was third in a Group 2, which he potentially should have won. He was coming late behind Group 1 winner Mustachery and that horse called Dubai. And now he's running in a Class 2 race coming in off form. I think he'd be a cracking bet on Saturday. I have nothing for the 555.
Good.
Get all your money on all this is.
Yeah. So best bet of the week or the next 3 days. James, is it all this is us?
I mean, I hadn't planned for this. It might be all this is us if he goes. I can't even remember what I tipped yesterday. Las Vegas tomorrow. I know it's a massive 2-year-old handicap, but I just think it looks like he's been absolutely laid out for it. I think he must have a great chance.
Mike, best bet or best bets?
I think Enbahar. I think she's a banker tomorrow. But I do think she's a banker, and I'm just trying to remember what else I've tipped up earlier in the card on that day. The prices I'm pretty sweet on Good Birthday. I think he's going to run exceptionally well. They'd be my Enbahar and Good Birthday will be the double to get going tomorrow.
Like it.
Mine is Visionary. We've got Visionary well clear. So what's a lucky 15 then for Doncaster?
God.
So Enbahar, you were both very keen on Enbahar.
Yeah.
So Enbahar goes in there. All this is has to go in there.
You can't have that because
no, we can. We can't.
The market won't be out.
Ah, shit, yeah.
No.
You got to go Enbahar. Good, but I like me and Mike both like Good Birthday. Have one that you like.
Can we have Visionary? But is the market out there yet?
No, it's not market. You've got to pick. You've got to do it for tomorrow, basically.
I'll do it for tomorrow. Right, let's go back to tomorrow.
It will be out tomorrow.
Be out in time.
Yeah.
Didn't you both like Stylistique?
Yes.
Yeah.
Stylistique, yeah.
Right, here it is then. Stylistique,
Enbahar,
Las Vegas, and Good Birthday.
There we go.
Very good.
See Mike in Ireland with Coppers.
Yeah, pays for your night in Coppers. Good. All right. Thanks for listening, Mike. Thanks very much for coming on. Enjoy the weekend. Best of luck for the rest of the week with your runners, particularly West End Girl.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
James.
Appreciate that.
James, thanks a lot.
Tom,
pick some winners for the rest of the week, please.
Tom, good luck on Saturday, 3:15.
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Good. All right, cheers. Bye.
Love it. Cheers, guys.
Bye.